Hey guys, welcome back. So this is not one, but two of these Toro Groundsmaster 223D diesel mowers. That's what the D stands for. So I got these things basically on a package deal, paid basically scrap price for them, which was $100 a piece. So $200 total. I actually picked these things up off of a farm where it was sitting out in a field for who knows how long. I think it was probably about 20 years or so. They were out there a long time. So I basically hauled them here, and they have been sitting here for many years. I just haven't had time to mess with them. So today's the day. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can get these things running, maybe driving, and maybe even mowing. So if you take a closer look, you can see these things are in really bad shape. The seat is completely rusted through. The pedals are stuck. This one is rusted and broke, most likely. All the tires are just completely shot. I mean, there's severe cracking and dry rot. These are completely off the wheel. Also, it looks like this tie rod is missing or bent or broken. This wheel and tire is the same. It's really rough, so probably gonna have to get new wheels and tires for this. This tire is also shot. It might take air, but I doubt it. Looks like got some gauges that are cracked. I don't know if this throttle, yeah, that throttle doesn't even look like it's hooked up. The deck on this thing is really shot, so I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to save the deck on this. I'll probably end up turning this one into like a forklift or something if I can get it running, because this one only has a 52-inch deck and the other one has a much bigger deck on it. But all these pulleys are seized and there's like rust jacking on the belt here, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to save that. I'm going to try, but we'll see. Steering is stuck, I think, on that one as well. Alright, so if we take a look at this one is actually in much better shape, but it's still not that good. We have two tires here that are holding air, surprisingly. The seat is shot. But this comes with a 72-inch deck, so that's a pretty good sized deck. This one looks pretty beefy. We'll have to get a closer look on it, but these things are probably all seized up. Brake pedals are probably seized. And it looks like we have a throttle pedal working on that. So it looks like the tires are in decent shape. These ones are really wore out. So this one here has 1,663 hours, which is not that bad. And this one has 2,122 hours. So a little bit more hours on this one. Kind of weird because this one is in better shape with more hours than this one. So I'm just noticing this air cleaner. It is like, man, it looks like it ran into a train or something, and the whole bottom is completely rusted out. I mean, I could stick my hole through that. So hopefully no water got into the engine. I don't think it did, but I mean, it's possible. Speaking of engine, these things are powered by a 3-cylinder liquid cooled Mitsubishi engine. These are a L3E engine. It's the same exact engine that's in my other industrial diesel mower. I made a video on that. It's basically the same thing as these. So if you want, you can check that video out as well. This one is, oh, it looks like it just spun over a little bit. Yeah, okay. Well, the engine's not locked up, but this thing is really crusty. I'm looking down there, and you can see that that belt is completely rust jacked on that pulley down there. And of course, we're missing a battery, but for the most part, it doesn't look too bad. Looks like one of our wires is clogged up, and we definitely had some rodents in here chewing up wires, so we'll have to get those connected. It looks like that's to the glow plug. Let's see what the oil looks like on this one. It's got oil. Looks like it's either really clean or it has water in it. It's kind of hard to tell. So we'll take a look at this other mower here. And as you can see, it has the same Mitsubishi engine, just a different valve cover on it. We do have a battery in this one. See if I can find a date on it somewhere. So we definitely got some more chewed wires. One here. So got some big wasp nests in there as well. Let's see if this one spins over. It wants to, but it's hitting a really hard spot right here. It might be the clutch down there that could be locked up, or just rust jacking on the pulley. Give that another shot. It's just wanting to spin the belt. Hopefully the engine's good. Check the oil in this one. Okay, it's got a oil. It's definitely pretty black. Lift the seat up. So under here, looks like we have a couple fuses and our hydraulic pump down there. It does have these two buttons on the top, and I know if you push those down, it will put it in freewheel, but I don't know of a way to keep them held down. Let's see what the coolant looks like on this. All right. Well, we got coolant in this one, so that's good. Definitely a little rusty on top there. So if we take a look underneath the machine, you can see these are our hydraulic rams, and that's what raises and lowers the mower deck. I'm just now noticing that this oil filter is completely crushed, and it looks like the fluid has leaked out of there. I'm guessing when they lifted this thing up on the trailer that the forks smashed that, because you can see it's the same way on this oil pan here. Hopefully that is not damaged. But yeah, this thing needs a serious cleaning. So I think this mower is going to be a lot easier to get running than this other one. So let's go ahead and start on it first. Let's see if we can get some air in these tires. Oh wow. I definitely hear some slight leaking, but we can at least move it around like that. This one pulls out. Yeah. Let's see what kind of goodies we got in here. That thing is pretty rusty. Oh, looks like we've got some pins, little battery hold down, and some other. So this is pretty cool. They have a reference chart for everything and all the maintenance, all the part numbers for everything, the oil, capacities, how many hours. Well, that's pretty neat. So I think every machine should have something like this on it. Alright, so now that we got this thing all sprayed off and cleaned up, we can really start to get a closer look at this thing, and it is an absolute beast. I mean, look how huge these frame rails are. That is seriously bigger than some truck frame rails. And if we look closer underneath it, I mean, it actually has like a truck differential under here. I mean, that is pretty cool. So it has these axle tubes and then this big old differential housing and individual brakes on each wheel. And it cleaned up really nice under here. I'm surprised. I mean, it really doesn't look like this thing has that hard of use. I mean, this thing really looks like it could go many thousands of more hours. And I'm wondering why it was actually put out to pasture. The only thing I can think of is because of the condition of this mower deck. It is in really bad shape. I mean, there are so many patch spots and rust holes. Yeah, it looks like somebody took a big sheet of metal here and just patched the entire thing. And that looks like epoxy that was covering up these rust holes. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to save this deck. I'm gonna try to, but yeah, I don't know. It is really nice to have a big 72-inch deck like this, but I don't know how long this thing's gonna last. If we look up under it, I mean, the blades don't look all that bad, but this thing's pretty bent up right here. So we'll have to get that fixed. One thing that I do like about this thing is it has these helper springs to kind of help the weight of this deck, because this is a really big mower deck. So yeah, these springs probably help out a good bit. So here we can get another look at that differential. That thing is enormous, and it has this through shaft here, like drive shaft, and I guess, yeah, that goes to this pulley right here and clutch, and that's how it's connected to the engine through this electronic clutch here. So it looks like our tire leaked all the way back down, and these rims look pretty rusty. This side's a lot worse, but somehow this tire is holding air. So it looks like it also comes equipped with a tailless lizard. Hey buddy. I also just noticed it has this massive counterweight on it, which is definitely factory with the Toro logo on it. All right, let's go ahead and pull this air cleaner out. Ew, that's not too good. Yikes. That might just be the bottom housing, so hopefully the filter's all right. The filter doesn't look too bad. It's definitely packed full though. Let's see what it looks like inside there. Alright, well I think this air filter is just way too far gone. I'm actually surprised the machine was still even running. I mean, this thing was packed full. I was gonna try and reuse it, but you can see light through it right up there. And you can see it's all disintegrated from all that rust all the way around it. So we'll just get a new filter. Hey buddy. So before we do anything, let's get this filter removed. That way we can fill this thing up before we even attempt to get it started. Oh, what? That thing is already loose? That's probably why all this hydraulic fluid residue was everywhere. There's nothing in there but looks like moisture, a bunch of water. See if we can get some of that cleaned out of there. Alright, well that didn't work. Let's shoot some air in here and see what comes out. Yeah, that fluid definitely looks like it has some water in it. Let's go ahead and just drain the whole differential. See what comes out of here. Well, that fluid doesn't look too bad, but I do see little things of water, little chunks of water it looks like coming out. Alright, we'll go ahead and let that drain. Alright, so while that trans fluid's draining, I guess let's go ahead and get this engine oil drained as well. This bolt is severely rounded off, so hopefully we can get this thing off. There we go. That stuff's pretty black. Alright, well that thing is completely dry. There's no oil at all in that filter. Yep, none at all. Yeah, usually when I take a filter off, you'll at least have like halfway filled with oil or something, but this thing is completely empty. It's kind of weird. All right, so we got our fuel filter here, or our water separator. So let's just see if it has any water in it. The oil itself doesn't look too bad. You can definitely see there was water and there's a lot of stuff in there. I can't tell if that's metal or just dirt. It looks more of like dirt and some water residue. I've seen a lot worse though, so that's not all that bad. All right, so I went ahead and picked up some new filters, transmission oil, and some engine oil here. So let's go ahead and get all that installed. All right, I went ahead and pre-filled this filter a little bit with some oil. And all All right, the other filter was the wrong one, but I had this filter. So this machine calls for a 10W30 motor oil for the transmission, but you can also use this universal tractor trans fluid as well. That's what I'm going to use in it. So before we can even check the level, we need to crank this thing up, and that way we can bleed the system. We are right on the money there. All right, so we're about ready to fire this thing up. Before we do, let's go ahead and get this battery swapped out. Well, that was easy. Alright guys, let's take a quick break to say a few words from today's video sponsor, Hypa Parts. So Hypa Parts manufactures all kinds of different small engine parts for homeowners, such as carburetors, also tools and many other things as well. So this chainsaw hasn't ran in a long time, so we're going to put a new carburetor on it. So one good thing about their parts is they have these quality control numbers on them. That is so they can reference these numbers if there's any issue in production. It really makes them stand apart from all the other parts that you find online. So here is the two carbs. They look pretty much identical. Let's get the new carb installed. Alright, so this saw hasn't ran in years, but now thanks to Hypa Parts, it is up and running good. So I'll leave a link in the description where you can order parts for your chainsaws and lawnmowers. I appreciate them sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and get back to the project. I'm just going to clean. Alright, we might as well fix some of these wires while we're here. Get them back in this wire loom. I got another battery. It's not technically the right kind, but I think it will work for what we're trying to do here. All right, let's go ahead and get some diesel on this thing. I think we're pretty close to seeing if this thing's gonna fire up. Go ahead and turn this key and see what happens. I hear a fuel pump, so that's good. Our engine preheat. All right, let's see what happens. Our glow plugs. Give it some throttle here. Just let it rest for a second. Get some more glow plugs. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and crack these injectors, get some fuel primed through there. Let's go ahead and crack these injectors because I wasn't getting any smoke through the exhaust, so I'm sure it just needs to be primed. A lot of these smaller diesels can have a self-priming system. Like my mini excavator, you don't even have to do this on it, but other ones you have to bleed the injectors on them. So we also have a small bleeder bolt right here, so let's undo that as well. Let's see if we get any fuel now. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, see with the electronic fuel pump, a lot of times you don't even have to really bleed these things. But there really wasn't any diesel in this machine, so the thing was bone dry. I should start getting fuel out of these injectors now. Looks like we're starting to get some out of this injector. Yeah, we're getting some fuel out of these now. All right, let's go for round 2 here. This key is definitely Alright, I'm going to charge that battery up and we'll try it again. Let's go ahead and hook this jump starter up to it. It's a new battery, but I never actually charged it, so let's see if that helps. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's get this battery charger hooked up to it. Alright, let's try for round 5. Alright, I don't want to kill this starter, so I'm just going to give it a whiff of starting fluid. That thing is not wanting to go. Usually these Mitsubishi engines start right up. I'm gonna let it sit for just a second and we'll try again in a minute. All right, so it is the next day. The battery has been charging all night. I'm gonna go ahead and bleed these injectors one more time because I think there still might be some air in the system. So let's go ahead and do that and then we'll give it another shot. I also want to make sure there's no safety that I'm missing and make sure that this shut-off solenoid is actually working, because if that's closed, then I still might get some smoke, but it won't start up. So we're just gonna pop all these loose again. Make sure we get all the air out of the system. Yeah, I'm not seeing, I mean, there's some coming out, but not tons. Let's undo this again. I'm getting good fuel out of here and there's no air coming out of that, so I've been finding these belt remnants all over this thing, so I guess this thing fried a belt at one point. Yeah, I'm getting fuel out of it, but I still am seeing some air bubbles coming out of it, but I am getting a good bit of fuel. I'm getting, let's pop that off and see if we can see it better. I'm definitely getting fuel out of it. Let's go ahead and try to start this thing up again. Some glow plugs here. I'm going to try just a little bit of starting fluid again. Oh, it's so close. I'm going to give it just a whiff more. I'm almost wondering if that shutoff solenoid is staying closed. Alright, so this shutoff solenoid is actually pretty hot, a lot hotter than it should be. And I'm not hearing it click on when I turn the key. So I hear the fuel pump, but no solenoid. Just gonna hit this with something. Yeah, I think our solenoid's bad. So let's go ahead and pull this off and see if we can free it up. Let's remove this intake tube, make our job a little bit easier. I think we're getting fuel in there because, I mean, it is pretty wet. Yeah, that solenoid is definitely pretty warm. It shouldn't be like that. Alright, there's our solenoid. And yeah, it is. Oh, there it goes. Alright, I'm gonna plug this in now and see if that freed it up. Yeah, see, it's not working at all. This thing should be pulling back like that. So either we have a bad solenoid or something is bad with the wiring. Right, I'm gonna go ahead and test this plug here. So with the key on, test these terminals. Alright, I'll check this to ground as well. Okay, so yeah, this plug is working. So it looks like our solenoid is bad. So technically I could still crank this thing up even without the solenoid because I have a shutoff right here. This is our throttle, this is our manual shutoff. So if I just cut this tip off this solenoid and reinstall it, it should work just fine, and I can shut it off manually until I can get a new solenoid for it. And really I could just leave this solenoid out, but I want to put it back in here to keep the dirt out. Alright, we got it all buttoned back up. This thing should fire up now. Fingers crossed. Alright, just a little bit of starting fluid. I don't know, this thing should be going. I mean, it's smoking a ton, so we're getting fuel. I don't know, maybe it's low on compression. Thinking about pulling those glow plugs out and checking the compression on it. I mean, it's hitting pretty hard. It feels like it has good compression, but it's just, I'm thinking that we still might have some air in the system or something. I mean, I got it on full throttle and I'm moving the throttle lever, so it should be going. Alright, I don't know why this thing's not firing off. I did go ahead and bleed the injectors one more time, so I think I got all the air out of the system. Let's try it one more time. Alright, so I'm not getting anything to work on this dash here, so I'm almost wondering if this glow plug circuit isn't even working, and that could be causing the hard starting. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take this panel off and test the circuit to make sure we're getting power to the glow plugs. This is our glow plug wire here. Alright, so when I turn the switch on, we should get power to this light. And we are getting nothing. So that could be our issue there. So it looks like we have this little glow plug heater box here. So let's see if we get any power going to that. No, we aren't getting anything. So wow, that's pretty nasty in there. So I've been looking a little bit closer at some of these wires, and you can see right here some of these wires are really kind of chafed from rubbing on this metal frame here. It's kind of hard to see, but I don't actually see any broken wires. They just look kind of bad. You can see there's some corrosion on a lot of these wires, so I'm just gonna try and clean them up and see if I can get a better connection with some of the stuff. All right, I've been tracing wires all over the place on this thing, trying to find the issue, but go ahead and take this seat off so I can get to the wires better. So I've been going through all these wires and fuse panels to try and see why I'm not getting power to most of this gauge assembly. And I'm also not getting power out of this solenoid. It does have a signal switch. This is for the glow plugs, and it does have the signal wires down here, so it could be either a bad glow plug solenoid, or there could be an issue with why I'm not getting a signal to it. Now I checked the switch, it's good. So, and all these wires look good as well. Kind of throwing me for a loop here. All right, so I took some of these off, and there's a lot of corrosion in there, so I'm gonna try cleaning that up and see if that will fix the issue. So I have traced all these wires back, and I'm not getting power to my PTO switch and pretty much everything. So I followed all the wires back into here, and they're basically leading to the ignition switch. So I started messing around with that, and you know, I can keep turning it on and off, nothing happens. But if I turn it very, very slowly, like super slow, I can get it to turn some lights on. And it's very, very finicky. So yeah, see, I didn't even touch it right then, and it turned off. But so yeah, it's very, very tricky. So it basically needs a new ignition switch. I'm gonna take the switch apart, see if I can fix it. Sometimes if I get it just right, it will stay on. There we go. Now I'm gonna hit my glow plug switch, and this switch is also messed up. It actually stays on, so it stays on sometimes. These switches have been sitting out in the weather and getting totally ruined. All right, let's go ahead and pull this switch out of here. See if we can take it apart. All this stuff is just really kind of rusted up in here. Yeah, you can see on the back side of it, there's definitely water that's just been soaking in this thing. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and order a new switch, but I'm really curious to see if I can actually fix this one in order to go ahead and get it running. I'm just gonna pry this thing apart, and it's probably just the contacts are corroded inside, or at least one of them is. This thing's made out of cast aluminum, so it's not the easiest to bend. Let's see if we can pull that out. Oh yeah, that thing is toast. All this stuff just kind of fell out, so, but I would say that is definitely our issue. You can see this side right here is pretty clean. That's probably our starter side, and this side is just has all kinds of buildup on it, and that is probably our accessory side. Put a little bit of dielectric grease on these. Make sure when you put it together, you have a little notch right there. Find that notch inside the housing. Pull this apart. I'm just going to clean some of this off. It's kind of tricky, but you gotta try and pull all this together. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough. I got a little pin through there. I think I got it. And now we just have to close the sides in. Alrighty, let's get this thing reinstalled. Alrighty, here goes nothing. Alright. Oh yeah. Alright, so here's our glow plug switch. And our glow plug light comes on. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and check our glow plug wire again. Alright. That was it. Alright, so I got it all buttoned back up. I went ahead and got all this put back together, and I fixed all the damaged wires in there. So now everything is working. hear our PTO now turning on as well. Alright, this thing has definitely got some weird wiring issues. So I turn the key on, and I turn this glow plug switch on, and the light doesn't come on anymore. That's with the wire connected. Now if I disconnect it, and I hit the glow plug switch, the light comes on. So that's basically saying that the glow plug is not making a complete circuit. So maybe all the glow plugs are bad. I'm gonna go ahead and pull them out and take a look. Just gonna go ahead and pull all of these glow plugs out. I guess I could go ahead and check the compression while I'm here as well. So first glow plug, wow, that is super rich of fuel. Same with that one. And that one's a little bit drier, but yeah. Those cylinders are soaked in fuel, so hopefully a rod or something didn't bend. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and test one of these glow plugs. Yeah, that's working. So there's nothing wrong with the glow plugs themselves. Let's go ahead and check the compression while we're here. It's plenty of compression, about 450, 460. I'll go ahead and check the other ones. Well, that's not good. Middle cylinder only has a little over 200 psi of compression. Yeah, only about 220. It's hard to believe that one cylinder has that good of compression and the other one has such low compression. I'm almost wondering if it's just like a stuck valve or something. Yeah, this one only has about 300. Okay, well, looks like that's our answer. This engine is probably no good. All right, well, after that compression test, this engine is probably toast, but I'm not ready to give up on it yet. Let's go ahead and take this valve cover off and see if there's a stuck valve or something crazy going on under here before we give up on it just yet. Well, it actually looks really clean under here, and I don't see any stuck valves or anything. So yeah, it's pretty odd that these two cylinders are so low on compression. We could have like a stuck ring, so if we did get this running, it might free it up. This glow plug circuit is, I don't know, there's something going on with it, but I'm gonna go ahead and just hot wire the glow plug circuit, and let's see if we can crank it up that way. So I just noticed our water pump pulley right there is also not spinning. So it looks like the belt is just spinning on it. So it looks like the water pump's locked up. Yeah, this this engine's gonna need a good bit of work on it. Look how clean this valve cover is though. This engine only has like 2,100 hours on it. And these diesel engines, they can run 10,000 hours, maybe even more. So we probably just have a stuck ring in there. So there is a possibility that this water pump locked up, which overheated the engine and, you know, burn it up that way, because I did see a lot of remnants of the water pump belt just all over the block here. So that's probably what happened. This thing most likely just overheated and fried the engine. Yeah, I think it's super tight. All right, hopefully that did it. All right, sweet. I'm just gonna hook a wire straight to the glow plugs, heat them up, should be good. Yeah, you can tell it's firing, but probably just on that one cylinder. Yeah, I don't know. This thing is Probably pretty shot. Try another little trick here. I'm just gonna heat the intake up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go. I'm gonna heat that thing out really good. Switch doesn't work right now. So the thing runs. Maybe not the best. I think we still have some kind of issue going on in the engine. I believe there's probably a broken or cracked ring, or something's just not right, because it's still smoking a little bit and I can hear the slightest ticking or noise inside the engine there. But before we can run it anymore, I need to go ahead and replace that water pump belt so it doesn't overheat and just blow itself up. So let's go ahead and get that belt replaced and we'll try it again. So that belt was not long for this world. It is all dry rotted and cracked. But I do have a pretty good assortment of belts. I think I found one here that might work. So let's give it a try. So to replace the belt, I believe we have to take this drive shaft off. Right. Slide out of here. The pump seems to spin good. Well, the bearings seem good on it. This fan belt is super loose as well, but it has to also come off in order to get the other belt on. So as I was moving this alternator, I noticed that this temperature sensor wire was broken off the sensor right there, and I believe this is a safety switch that will cut the engine if it gets to over temp. And if you see, if I put it to ground, it clicks a relay that will actually cut off the fuel pump. So I think that will cut the engine, and that is obviously not working. So this engine probably overheated and it might have messed up because of that. Well, they sure don't make this that easy. All this stuff has to come loose in order to get the belt on. There's just not enough clearance. Alright, I think, yeah, this belt is perfect length. Alright, so that worked out good. Alright, let's get this other belt back on and we'll be done. I went ahead and replaced this belt as well. Let's go ahead and get all that tightened down. Got a new filter. Alright. Alright, so we got a new filter on here. We got two new belts on here. Got the drive shaft put back on. So let's go ahead and try and start this thing back up. The engine is completely cool, so let's see if this thing's gonna fight us again, or if it's gonna crank up easily. All right, I got my glow plug starter switch here. Should be good. Oh, it almost fired up. We'll let it rest for just a second. Give it a little bit more glow plugs here. Yeah, this engine should have already fired right up. I have the same exact engine in my other diesel mower, and that thing fires right up. So yeah, something's not right with it. Try that again. This time we'll give it a little bit of starting fluid. Oh, what's going on there? Yeah, this engine's gonna need some heat, so. Alright guys, well we got it running. It's not really running the best. However, the more I ran this thing yesterday, the better it seemed to get. I still think that there's some kind of stuck ring or something inside the engine, but I ran this thing for a pretty good while and it seemed to run a lot better the longer I ran it. So it might be starting to free that ring up or whatever's going on. So it is the next day and this thing is completely cold, but this thing was cranking up yesterday when it was warm. It was firing right back up. So I'm gonna try and fire it up just real quick, and I wanna see if the compression or the rings improved on this thing. Yeah, it fired right up. That was with absolutely no glow plugs or anything. You can see it's still smoking though, and that might clear up a little bit. So now it seems to fire right up, and that was with absolutely no glow plugs. The engine was completely cold, but I still think I can hear some kind of noise inside that. Now there is something definitely going on with this clutch. It is just flopping around in there like crazy, so that could be making the noise. But I want to do another compression test on this and see if the compression values increased or stayed the same. So this mower still needs a lot of work itself. I mean, the tires are shot, so it's gonna need new tires, probably new wheels. If we can get this engine straightened out, the clutch needs to be fixed as well. I don't know if there's a bad bearing or if that thing's bent in there somehow, because it's moving around like crazy, and when you engage it, it starts sparking. It looks like it was actually repaired up there at one point in time, because I can see all kinds of weld right there, and this thing is like really loose in there. There's a lot of other issues with this machine. The deck needs a lot of work on it as well. It's all out of adjustment, and you know, all these pulleys probably need greasing and stuff like that. A lot of other stuff, but we're gonna try and see if we can get one good machine out of both of them, and we might go ahead and take this engine apart and see what's going on, if we can't get the compression numbers higher and maybe get the smoke to settle down a little bit. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. But in the next video, we're gonna go ahead and probably finish this mower up. But before we even do that, I wanna go ahead and dive into this machine and see if we can get it running and see if it's a better candidate than the other machine to turn into a good viable mower. But all that's gonna be in the next video. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me and resurrecting this old Groundsmaster 223D. And I will see you guys on the next video. So y'all take care. Later. Oh, you like your lobster, huh? You love your lobster. Can I have it? Can I have that back? Can I have it back? You want it? Huh? You just want it? Yeah, that's my baby. It's a good girl. It's a good girl.